Here is my take on it. I don't think cancel culture actually exists. I think that it's interesting that the big current cry about cancel culture is coming from a lot of the right wing and conservative leaning people in the world. And those people fucking love capitalism. That's their favorite goddamn thing in the world. Let the market decide. This is just the market deciding. We're deciding that some shit is offensive and we don't want to support it. And that's fucking capitalism, baby. That's what you want.
I also do want to talk about this cancel culture bullshit. I think it's bullshit on some things, but I definitely want to see what you guys think about it because this shit is getting a little out of control. Maybe I need to be enlightened on how I might be looking at it wrong or what, but canceling Dr. Seuss?
I don't think there's anything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think personally, it's just progression.
Sorry,
And,
what's it?
Like
this whole cancellation thing, like the whole, I feel like if it has merit to be canceled, then probably should be canceled. If there's like things, I think that's the way life works. Like we learn something's not appropriate, and then we stop doing it. Like
What's the goal of cancel culture, I guess?
I don't. I mean, I don't know if there's a goal. I don't know what that is. If there is,
if it's offensive or viewed as racist or sexist, they don't want it no more. That's why
I agree.
Because of the 4 or 5 black birds in Dumbo.
Shit is extremely racist. One of them are called Jim Crow.
Yeah, that one is absolutely racist.
Like disgusting.
And Disney is aware that they have racist shit in their vault. That's why Songs of the South has never made it to Disney Plus, because that one is also super fucking racist.
I think there's some things on there I get, but then there's just some.
But
don't.
Here is my take on it. I don't think cancel culture actually exists. I think that it's interesting that the big current cry about cancel culture is coming from a lot of the right wing and conservative leaning people in the world. And those people fucking love capitalism. That's their favorite goddamn thing in the world. Let the market decide. This is just the market deciding. We're deciding that some shit is offensive and we don't want to support it. And that's fucking capitalism, baby. That's what you want. So that's what's going on. There's no such thing as cancel culture.
100%. But I guess to attack the argument is I'm not that right wing guy either. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like gung ho. I do like capitalism, but I'm not all like gung ho capitalism. So I'm not like, I don't know. I find cancel culture to be kind of odd personally, or whatever we want to call it. If you don't think it exists.
I mean, there's pushes, like there's hashtags that will start streaming and whatnot, but it's, I don't know, I don't understand how that's actually canceling anything. These are people that are just saying that they're not going to buy a product or participate in watching a show or something, and they're just being vocal about it. It's not. I guess that some companies will feel a push because of the negative Twitter feedback and they'll cave.
Right. Like, for example, the not that I agree at all with any of her comments, but like, for example, the Cara Dune woman from The Mandalorian, right? Mm-hmm. She made a bunch of disgusting remarks, and there was just a big, like, Twitter thing that occurred, and then it seemed like in response to that, Disney dropped her, right?
Yeah.
So now she's not going to be in The Mandalorian anymore. So those people got her fired, which is like, in a sense, right, canceling her from like, her job. Right. Mm-hmm. Now she got to go find another job, and her life's now going to be a little more difficult because, she might not be able to get in movies and shit like that, right? Whatever. Boohoo. I'm not throwing a pity party for her. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, what I'm interested in, or I guess there's a few things, right? Because I guess the thing that I find most interesting is like how far are people willing to take it, right? Like, because what happens if like it's all cool and all, right? Like, because like I've seen people get canceled like rich people, right? So you're like, who cares? You know, that person's probably a millionaire. They could probably figure out their life, right?
They're gonna cry themselves to sleep on their cash-filled pillow.
Right. But I've seen people like express just like political opinions, such as like, oh, someone just might support Donald Trump as an example, right? And then people are like try to get them fired from their jobs and shit like that. Like I wonder how far is it like considered acceptable? Like, or how far do some people think? Like, do they want these people to just like die? Like, because like if you're willing, if you think getting someone fired from their job is okay, then what if like you're like you go to their bank and you're just like, yo, I need you to stop banking with this person. Like this person's a piece of shit. Don't let them open any credit cards or get any loans. And then what if you go to like their HOA and they're like, yo, you got a piece of shit living in your neighborhood? Like how far like are we willing to drive people to like homelessness? And I'm sure, and this isn't the issue. I'm more curious philosophically, like the idea of this. Like, I don't know. I find it interesting. I personally feel like and you gotta ask Tony. I'm down with cancel culture in a sense, right? Like, cause like when Kanye West was all going gun ho, all Donald Trump, I said, "Fuck that motherfucker! I ain't buying his music no more." I stopped listening to Kanye West straight like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not over here like saying like, cause in a sense it like you said, it is capitalism in action, right? Like I didn't like what he said, and I said I'm not putting my money towards someone that I disagree with. I prefer to not purchase his stuff. I don't want to support that. I don't want to support a platform where he's going to be voicing these types of things. I don't think I'm hurting him all. That motherfucker's a billionaire, but fuck it. That's my decision, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some kind of like there's some kind of distinction there, right? Because like I participate in that same sense. Like, you know, I don't fuck with Kanye anymore. That's not my thing. I think that man probably needs some mental health professional to give him some assistance in his life, but that's completely unrelated. So I'd participate in that sense. But I don't know. I'm not really like putting hashtags on Twitter kind of dude. I'm not, you know, writing emails to every Disney.com address I can find about Cara Dune and being like, yo, this is what she's saying on Twitter. Let me just spam every Disney.com email address I can think of calling for this woman's head or anything.
Nah, there's people that take that shit.
And there are, and I think that shit is probably too extreme. I don't know that is strictly necessary. I think just the movement itself and just deciding this is someone that I don't want my money to go towards supporting this person for, you know, whatever myriad of reasons you have. I think that's fine. I think that the hashtags on Twitter are fine, but like once you're getting to that point where it's like, let me start calling up numbers of people at companies and trying to get through to the CEO and leave angry messages or going after, you know, I don't know. I think there's definitely there's some kind of ethical line for me personally whenever it comes to things like that.
It's just like when you start canceling shit, right? And I get it. Racist shit and all that. I get it. You want to just get rid of it and whatever. But like they canceled Dr. Seuss books. Right.
Just to be clear, the publisher of the Dr. Seuss books themselves, they removed 5 out of his hundreds of books.
That's so what I was.
There's 5 of his books that had some troubling material in there, either racial or anti-Semitic and stuff like that. And so they removed just 5 out of his hundreds of books.
That's what I was about to say. Who is this they that actually canceled them? Because it was the foundation themselves deciding to pull these books.
Well, yeah,
I do. To be fair, I do think it was in response to like a big like Twitter backlash.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I don't think just one day they were like, "Hey, we ourselves found these things in these books." Like I think somebody put out some information, and then
I think although there's a different company, Aunt Jemima also just straight up came out and said,
rid of Aunt Jemima, bro.
"No, Aunt Jemima got rid of Aunt Jemima because Aunt Jemima is a racist stereotype."
Really?
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
Ben and Aunt Jemima.
What about Uncle Ben?
That is also it's a racist stereotype.
Who? Uncle Ben?
The
and
rice.
Aunt Jemima. Yes.
I don't know what the fuck is Uncle Ben.
He did rice.
It's just
rice.
I think it was
it's
like
a
Uncle
rice,
Ben's
it's
rice.
like a rice brand.
Okay.
On Jemima. Me growing up, I didn't see that shit racist, right? growing up as a kid. Like I thought that if that lady's picture wasn't on a syrup, I ain't want it because that quality was trash. Like that's how I viewed it. Like, oh, Aunt Jemima, word, that's that fucking syrup. I need
mean,
that.
you're kind of pointing out some of the issues with using these racial stereotypes as marketing tools, though, because it normalized it in your mind as a child that this is an appropriate racial stereotype. I mean, that's the reason why that the Dumbo, the Jim Crows, that's why that's a racist kind of thing. It was racial stereotypes on display in a children's cartoon for what fucking purpose? None. Zero purpose. I think those crows barely added to the story. They gave him the feather, I think, that let him fly again or made him believe in flying again or something. I haven't seen Dumbo in years, dude.
And they canceled Pepe Le Pew.
Who is they?
Pepe Le Pew was a very aggressive character. I watched Pepe Le Pew last year at a bar, and there was this one guy at the bar that was yelling at the TV like, "Don't you understand? No means no, Pepe."
Well, yeah, they canceled him because of the because he admits his flirtatious to Penelope, and she
No, he
found,
ain't flirtatious. This motherfucker done made like fucking made like poisonous clouds that have intoxicated her mind to try to date rape her. Like this is a very different dude is sexually aggressive.
He has committed sex crimes. He is 100% committed sex crimes.
100%.
so my whole thing is right if like they canceling these characters and shit, right? What about the other characters they're not canceling, right? How about South Park? Fuck the Jews, fuck of this, fuck of that. That's everything South Park's always ever said.
South Park is satirical though, and they've been very upfront about it being satire, and
I think there's a difference.
It's shining a mirror at these shitty aspects of society and being like, look at how ugly you are, essentially.
Yeah.
Like what we were doing with our mic check earlier when we were talking about your face.
Wow, yeah, that's what y'all doing.
So you're saying that because some things have been canceled, you're saying where does it stop?
No, yeah.
Which is a valid question. It's not a completely invalid question. I think
that's her. Simple and plain. Let's cancel fucking Jessica Rabbit's that movie with that white chick for whatever had that slutty ass dress and
Talking about the
Roger Rabbit.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
But for what?
Why would cancel her?
Why are we?
The problem isn't that the problem with Pepe Le Pew is not that he's sexual. The problem with Pepe Le Pew is that he's a sex criminal.
He was aggressive. He had a filing restraint.
No, he's a rapist.
He's rapey. Like
he's not rapey. He would go to jail for life with the number of infractions that he's committed. In one episode, probably.
Jessica Rabbit was just she was embracing her sexuality, which is fine. Like if you want to dress in a sexy dress, then go for it. She's not committing any crimes or anything. She's not over there grabbing men's faces and put them in her cooch or something against their will. Like there's a big difference between Pepe Le Pew and Jessica Rabbit.
And then they didn't even cancel Lolo Bunny. They just made her fat.
But why? Why would they cancel Lola Bunny?
Why?
She was being mad, like luring Bugs Bunny in with her sexy, like first Space Jam. That's why they changed her.
Seducing, you mean?
She had them titties. She had the bunny ass.
Are you upset about Lola Bunny no longer being sexy? Is that what's going on?
I've heard those as well.
I don't think
so. In a sense, they canceled her. They made her not sexy anymore, according to you, right?
Like, so are we canceling because she was so beautiful that it's going to show that only people.
I think that was a pure Warner Brothers decision. I don't think there was any campaign that was like
this cancellation shit. I'm telling you.
All that I did.
Backlash.
People are pissed that she's. Also, I saw the whole imagery of Lola Bunny being super sexy and all that. Those are like, for the most part, those are like made up pictures. Like I saw somebody compare like original Space Jam footage with like the new stuff, and she looks pretty comparable. All this huge hip shit that you're seeing is just people making art.
Is that people going to Roll 34 and just pulling pictures or something?
Apparently, there was a scene in the new Space Jam where LeBron is teaching Pepe Le Pew about consent, and that got cut from the movie.
Right.
That's probably not something you should. I don't know. Teaching children consent is an important conversation to have. I would wonder how that would like play into the pacing of a Space Jam movie. Where it's like we're gonna play basketball. Oh, here's a scene about consent, and then back to basketball and hijinks.
It's just crazy to me. Like this fucking society is like we
Progressing.
got a racist shit going on in the world, right? So the way to fix it is eliminating everything that's racist, right? Okay. I'm down for it. But now we're gonna do certain things are gonna get eliminated. We're gonna pick and choose what gets eliminated. I'm just like, why? Like, if we want to be neutral on everything, right? Go through all the shit, every fucking joke, anything that was jokingly made that had some type of racist tendency or anything that offended somebody. Just get rid of it.
The problem is that some of these jokes were made at the minority's expense. Like they were made as racial jokes against that person. That's why those Jim Crows existed. That's why there's the stereotypes about like the black woman that Aunt Jemima is based on. And then you brought South Park up as an example. South Park's not doing that. South Park is not punching below their weight. They always punch up. They're punching at the systems and the fucking society that has made all these stupid ass decisions and has a need to be viewed as in a satirical way. It's that whole if you're not laughing, you're crying thing about how shitty some of the shit in society is.
I agree with some of it, right? Like racist shit. We do need to, in order to change, we got to change these shits. But it's just like let's just be fair across the book. That's all I'm saying. Let's just
So let me ask, who are they unfair with? Just like quick, like an example. I'm just curious.
I'm cancel South Park.
Okay, so I think
South Park, right? I like South Park, but let's cancel South Park. Don't let them air that shit.
So why?
Because shit's offensive. If
So we're not canceling things because they're offensive, right?
That's exactly what canceling is. They're canceling shit that is racist and it offends people. Like literally, you can go to New York Times and they'll show you a list of like canceling why people are canceling shit.
They're canceling racist shit because we're trying to move past being a racist society. And yeah, like people get offended because of the racism and stuff, but that's not the reason we're canceling racist stuff. Reason Pepe Le Pew is being canceled is not because it offends people. It's because maybe we shouldn't have a children's cartoon that is teaching our children that consent doesn't exist and you can just hug all over people even though they don't want you and date rape them.
I get that. I understand that. I'm okay. So the 4 or 5 black birds in Dumbo, shit's racist, right?
Yeah, they're racist stereotypes. They're named after some racist laws that were enacted in the South after the Reconstruction period.
That shit is not offensive, right? Is that shit offensive or not?
It's offensive as a byproduct of the racism and the commemoration and the stereotyping that they're using.
So then someone's screaming out, and just using an example, F the J's, F the N's, all this shit, right? Making fun of Canadian.
Oh my god, sorry. Because
offensive. If someone is catching offensive feelings or something, right? Let's say that shit hurts a whole community of people, of the Jewish community. That shit offends all of them. So we're not gonna get rid of that shit. Shit's offensive. Yes or no? Just because they're not saying like, oh,
I think, but I'm saying that we're not canceling people because it's offensive. You keep taking it back there. I think the goal is that we don't want to reinforce like negative stereotypes of people. We don't want to teach people that these behaviors are okay.
I think that if you're watching South Park and what you're taking away from the show is watching Cartman being like, oh yeah, it is funny when Cartman makes fun of Jews. I think that you're not watching the same show as me because Cartman's a piece of shit. And if you don't understand that by watching South Park and realizing this man is a piece of shit, they're making fun of people that are like this and not actually making fun of the Jewish people with some of the comments that they're making, then you're watching the show wrong, man. Like that's
I don't think that whoever's watching the show and the takeaway is, oh, the show is teaching me that it's okay to be a bigot against all these groups of people. I don't think that that you're educated or equipped enough to watch that show. I mean, it's a mature show. You're probably not mature if your takeaway is, oh, they said F the Jews. That's a like a green light to go ahead and do that. Like,
Also, you may not understand how like satire works and what satire is. Like, because a lot of people didn't get that. Especially from one explanation. What's the guy who came on before the Daily Show, the Stephen Colbert Show? That show was completely satirical. Although some like Fox was even upset at them because they took their format, and it's basically making fun of Fox News, but in a satirical way.
Tony,
It was being like,
Tony, I don't think that was a specific call out to you. I think Doey was saying you as in one, like a person. I don't think he was specifically meaning that as you, Tony.
I was trying to read this. So the New York Post, right? The phenomenon
it's like you're not listening at all. But
canceling of people, brands, and even shows and movies are due to what some consider to be offensive or problematic remarks or what did she say? Oh, goes into a link. My bad. Or problematic remarks. That's what this canceling shit culture.
Well, that's what that person said on the New York Times, but that's just not the case.
And I mean, there can be problematic remarks like saying that trans people aren't people, or transphobic statements or homophobic statements. Like, those are problematic remarks, and yeah, there's they're offensive, and that's part of the reason for the cancellation. But the root cause of it, if you're actually thinking about it logically, the reason why people are getting canceled for statements like that is because we're not trying to be a society that's homophobic anymore. We're not trying to be transphobic. We're not trying to, I don't know, we're trying to move past those ideals. They're dying. They're slowly dying, but it's a fight.
You go to certain states, and it does not seem like those things are dead. I have a lot of people that I went to school with that they feel like, and even friends from old, they think that the agenda being pushed on TV is one to make their children either appreciate homosexual things, or they're like, oh, they're trying to push all this homosexual stuff on kids, and all these kids don't know what they're looking at. And I kind of like, I don't get it personally. Like, a lot of people think that just because there's a character that is gay on a children's show, somehow that's magically gonna turn their children gay.
That's crazy.
People believe that shit, man.
I mean, it can, right? Like in a sense, right? Like, think of, not in a negative way, right? But like, to me, what I think the positivity of including gay characters is to teach people that it's okay to be gay. And if you happen to be gay, maybe seeing that cartoon character maybe helps facilitate you coming out, like in a more healthy way than keeping it repressed to getting married with the person, just a whole life that you don't want to live in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that parent views that as, that shit turned my kid gay, right?
So since you, Pucho, because you have a daughter that's growing up, she starts watching these TV shows and stuff, right? And she sees two girls kissing and two boys kissing, and then she asks you, why are they kissing? Or two girls or two guys can kiss? Because I see you and mommy kiss each other, but you guys don't kiss other girls or other, you know what I'm saying? So how do you, as a dad, how do you go and teach your daughter about that?
So, I mean, it might sound a bit of a cop-out. I would hope that I would raise my daughter in such a way where she wouldn't ask me that question. Like, because I would hope that in her mind, that's already like kind of normal. But if I were to get the question, I'd say, two people that like each other kiss each other. I don't think it has anything to do with like two boys or two girls, or it has to be a boy and a girl. Like, I don't know. And I mean, you're probably asking the wrong person too, because I overthink all of the decisions I'm making for my kid. Like this morning, so my daughter's lately, she's been grabbing the broom around the house, and it's big, but she'll grab the broom and she tries to walk it around, and she's kind of lumbering around, she's smacking up things, but she wants to hold this broom. And my wife asked me this morning, like, yo, you think we should buy a broom for Liana, like a little broom? And I was like, yeah, maybe, probably, because in my head I'm thinking like, damn, like, why, like, if I buy a little broom for a little girl, it's almost like I'm reinforcing a gender stereotype, right?
Yeah, like would you also like would you buy a broom for a little boy if they were
Right,
doing
and
the
I
same
would,
thing?
right?
And I would,
And
and
that was
same. Like if I had a kiddo, like yeah, absolutely, if that's what they're interested. But yeah, you feel like you're like, but at the same time, am I? Yeah,
am I reinforcing a negative gender stereotype, right? Like, am I about to make a decision just because she's a girl? Like, and that's because I'm like, just because she's a girl, I might not want to give her the broom because I don't want to reinforce, right? Like, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, we should get it because she sees me clean, she sees my wife clean, so she wants to do it, but it's too big for her. So I'm gonna get a little broom. And if I had a son, I would get a broom too because I'll make him clean his room just like I'd make any kid clean their room. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
But that was the conversation I had with my wife this morning, which is why I think you might be asking the wrong person, like because I overthink these types of things.
No, I'm asking the right person.
Well, sure, I'm saying that it's not a complicated conundrum for me because I've already thought about all this stuff. But yeah,
So before
like
Liana was born,
yeah,
I remember you specifically telling me, Everett, and maybe your brother, we were in the
I
room,
told my mother, everybody.
about certain toys not to buy your daughter.
I told y'all not to buy me anything. More specifically,
Yeah, more
I
specifically.
said I don't want nobody buying gifts for my kids. Is what I said.
That's what you
And
guys.
then you said why.
And
So
then,
that now what you're saying is the response to the first statement. So just to be clear.
yeah. So then I told you why. So you don't want a kitchen set for your daughter? You said no. And I asked you why. And your response was because it's saying that this is girl toy, or at least your response was, oh, it's because it's saying that only girls do kitchen work and all this. And it's funny because you guys have a kitchen girl toy. So I'm trying to figure out, right? Why is it now okay for her to have that? Because she wants to play because she sees mommy doing it? And is that a gender toy because where she sees mommy doing, she wants to do it? Or is it just at the time you didn't want it? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why did you get that toy if you didn't want it?
I'm gonna chime in real quick. I think personally, especially with your kids, I've heard this a lot. Like, and even when I was young growing up and I wanted to buy somebody else something, my mom was always like, you have to ask their parent if it's okay for you to get that thing for them because people want to raise their kids in certain ways. So I think, especially in that case, I think somebody may have asked him, hey, I would like to buy this for Liana. And that's what happened. They was like, okay, you can buy this for them. But I think personally,
My question is, he didn't want it for gender, a gender toy that's based for a child. Like the boys get the lawnmower, like how we were growing up. Boys would get the lawnmower or the wood shop table, and the girls would get the kitchen table. To me, I think that's kind of beast because guys can cook too, boys can cook too, and girls can also do lawn work or wood shop. So Pucho and Lisa's response was no, we don't want that because we don't want a kid to be like, oh, this is what girls do or anything like that. So he has that. So my question is, what's the change now? Or is it because someone got you the gift or did you guys get it? Like what changed?
So I don't think anything changed. I didn't say because again, just because I want to be like super clear. I said I don't want people buying my kid gifts because I don't want someone to just buy things like a bunch of Barbie dolls and a bunch of this and a bunch of that because again, like David said, I want to raise my kid a very specific way. I want to raise my kid the way that I think is the right way, and I don't need anybody's external influences. She's already going to go to school and be around people, and she's going to be around other people more than she's going to be around me. So I want to plant the right seeds now. That's my goal, right? So I never said that she can't cook or get a kitchen, right? My main concern is I don't ever want to buy my daughter a gift because she's a girl. Like I don't want that to be the primary, like unless we're talking, there's specific things, right? Like a bra, for example. Like there's women that may need bras. Like that's something that's specific for the most part to women. So that's something that I would have to do, or pads and tampons and birth control, things like that, right? Like those are some of the necessities of a woman, right? Beyond those things, I don't want to buy things that are specific to, like I'm buying it because she's a girl.
Yeah.
Because I think it can reinforce like gender stereotypes. That's it. Right. So like I was raised is that men do labor, women do the house labor.
Yeah.
right? So like cooking, cleaning, all that type of shit. And I don't want to raise my daughter that way. So if people start buying her a bunch of house shit, then I don't want my daughter to be raised that way. So I would prefer if people didn't purchase those things. Um, so I got her a kitchen because I cook. She sees me cook, and we got her some cooking toys. Like she got like this little cutting board, and she'll grab like this potato that's like Velcro together, and she'll take the knife and cut it through the Velcro, and she has fun with that. So we got her a kitchen, and she plays with the kitchen. She sees me cooking, she wants to copy. She sees her mom cooking, she wants to copy. She comes with her little pot, she thinks she's cooking and shit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't ever want to raise her in such a way where she has a kitchen and my son has like a barbecue set.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to be like, yo, because the men barbecue and the women stay in the kitchen. Like, that's my main concern. And that's why I don't want people to buy my kids gifts. Because if I do have a son and someone does want to get my son, say, some cooking shit, they might buy him a barbecue set. And now I got a fucking barbecue set and I need to figure out how to make sure that this isn't like, oh, this isn't a boy's toy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to answer those types of questions. Like, I don't need that type of confusion for my kids. And yeah.
It's this the world that we live in now is so fucking so different, man. Like
Then
than
I
how
think it's
raised, bro. Like
I think it's for the best. And
No,
that's what I meant earlier.
it's definitely for the best because, like, you know, I got close friends, I got family members that are gay, and I even have a friend that I don't know the term, so I don't want to say it, but he is definitely for them to come out and stuff. Back then in the days, it was a like people, your own family, like will hate you, and
It's still like that.
you know, it's still like that, but not as bad. Like now, there's groups, there's society, there's communities that help each other, that support one another, which I think is good because, you know, like I've seen my cousin go through it, and you know, like him telling his dad and all this, it was like a thing, you know. It was just like, and at the time, I was like, okay, he's gay, because like, what's the fucking problem? Like, what's the real issue here? He's not a killer. He's not a rapist. He's
Like
not a
Pepe Le
racist.
Pew.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's not a criminal. Like, well, like he likes what he likes. Back in the days, fucking Greek times, there was orgies, guys on guys, girls on girls, whatever, you know, like swaps, all this shit. Like it was a norm back in the days. Like I don't know how it changed from them to there to here, you know what I mean? But
Christianity.
Yep.
actually, yeah.
but yeah. Basically what you're saying is
It's normal to me in my eyes. Like it's just people at first I was one of those who were like, oh, I don't care, just don't come at me. Like, you know what I mean? Like younger me, like all the gay guys want me. Like, no, that's not what it is, bro. Like there's a couple like, yo, you know what's also crazy is that gay guys are fucking hilarious. Like, bro,
Funny.
they're the most funniest motherfuckers I've probably met because like they'll say some shit and then you'll just instantly get it. And they'd be like, damn, that's funny. And you're like, I
Okay.
don't know.
So the funniest thing that I've ever heard, one of the funniest things I've ever heard. So my older brother is gay. And we were at some family function, and we were some extended family member was talking to me and my brother and was telling him like, oh yeah, Mijo, you're so young, like just make sure you don't have any kids yet, and blah blah blah. Like, and my brother straight up looks at this old woman that's telling us this and tells her, no, don't worry, Thea, butt babies don't survive, and walks off.
No, he was gay?
That's hilarious. That is so good.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That poor old lady was like, what the fuck just happened?
Jokes,
Yeah.
bro. They're awesome. They're funny.
Yeah, I frequent a bar up here in Harlem called At the Wallace in Harlem Public, and it's like a huge gay community that goes there. Some of the best people in there are gay that like treat me with so much compassion and treated me so good. One thing that I was never comfortable with way before was like getting flirted on and getting hit on by a gay guy, and I used to like be very against it, and I was like repulsed by it. But now, like, that doesn't bother me. Like, they'll know you're straight when, you know what I mean, you say, oh, thanks, but no thanks, stuff like that, um it's even a little flattering sometimes. It could be flattering.
Mhm.
I could be like, that, because some people are just charming. They're very charming people, and they're not bad people. And I've made very good gay friends this past year and a half, 2 years there. Like, people that I could genuinely say are my friends, and they're gay. And I never could say that before. That I had like gay friends and stuff like that. So I really appreciate New York being so progressive. And I'm gonna be completely honest, it's a big gay island, and there's like tons of gay people from
I
all over.
don't know why that sounds funny.
It's
You live on a gay island. dude.
It's some shit that if you said it like when you were a teenager, it would be a straight up insult. But now it's like,
Right.
it's like, no, it's awesome. It's a big gay island.
yeah, there's a very big community of gay people over here, and some of the best people you'll ever meet.
It's funny too, cause like when I talked to my cousin, he would tell me like, he's gay, obviously. He would tell me like, I just hate the extra flamboyant gay guys. I'm like, what do you mean, the ones that wear all those get-ups and stuff, and be like, and he did all these funny ass motions, and I'm just like, oh, so why do you hate him? He's like, it's just too much. There's no reason to be that much.
I've heard that. Well, I've heard that in a different way. That it is a caricature of a black gay person, and a lot of white men do try to encapsulate that vogue. That that it's like a type of character, and black people are like, yo, this is ours. This is how we act. You guys are basically kind of taking the sauce and kind of using it on your own way. So I've heard that as like before. But
I don't know.
So
I think just let people be however the fuck they
Yeah,
want to be. As long as they're not harming you, why does anybody give a fuck?
So
Yeah.
to bring it back around, Tony, are you properly educated on cancel culture now?
No, he's not. we need a part 2 of this one, because he whipped out this New York Times BS. Like I would love to walk through this. And I'm a guy, I do not like cancel culture. Like and unlike Mateo, I believe it's real. I believe it exists. I think it happens for a reason, but I don't think it happens because things are offensive necessarily. Like,
Yeah.
But
The definition of it, it's not what I'm saying, but it is what it's happening. Like shit. Like
I think so. Again, right? I don't want to. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's not because something is offensive, right? It's like it's because you don't want people to learn that thing that is offensive is okay to do.
No, okay.
That's different than because it hurts somebody's feelings versus we don't want people walking around thinking this is normal. Those are two different things. And to just say that no, it's just because it's offensive is to be super. You're reducing it to like its most bare thing. The reason you're trying, not the reason that you're trying to do it, maybe the people that wrote the article, the reason they're trying to do it is because now that once you could say that, oh, it's just because it's offensive, and then we could start equating it to all types of other things to call it ridiculous.
Yep.
So now I could just go, oh, your breath stinks. Oh, that's offensive. Oh, let's cancel him for saying that. Oh, your hair is ugly. Oh, that's offensive. Like that's what they want to do. This is called building a straw man. Mm-hmm. This is a straw man argument so that they could tear it down super easily. Like that is a weak ass argument that they're trying to build up. Nobody's making the argument that, oh, we could cancel people for hurting our feelings. Like that's not the truth. Like,
yep.
That's a caricature of the truth. Like, and I don't know. That's my main problem. And I hate centrists too. So I'm not trying to be one of these both sides have their merits. I am a center left dude. I lean that way for the most part. I'm not. I see the problems with cancel culture and shit like that. Like for example, right? Like the whole Aziz Ansari's thing. A lot of people jumped on that shit real quick before a lot of information came out about it, right? And maybe that's an example of people going, all right, maybe this isn't like, they didn't like, cancel him. But I was a little troubled by how readily everybody was willing to be like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. I could see the issues with it, but I don't think it's as problematic as a lot of the conservatives want to make it seem.
Yeah. From the same people that are burning masks in garbage cans and burning jerseys because people were kneeling at football games. Like I take a lot of the crying about cancel culture with a grain of salt.
I mean, they killed police officers in the Capitol, so yeah, those people. And they stormed the Capitol building to try to overturn an election, right? Like,
Shit is wild.
So
yeah.
so does Doey have to do like an ending to the Doey Sexy News show first, and then we do the one up ending, or how do we do this episode within an episode?
We're not doing that.
All right. When Doy does his version of the Macarena, I think you got to wrap it up, Tom.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? I want to see how long he just.
Oh,
He'll keep going, dude.
wait, is he trying to create my vortex?
How great would that see if you just saw the entire desk fall into him at some
My
Fucking cat starts spinning.
cat's right there.
I know you'd love it. You love animal destruction. So.
Oh, I love this shit getting destroyed because he's being a dick. But yeah, man. Thanks to all the listeners and the viewers watching and stuff, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We're gonna try to drop videos every Friday and throughout the week with sneak peeks and trailers, and just you guys' support and liking all of our videos. It really helps us and makes us grind harder to get better at podcasting. Like it's not really, comes overnight, building of time. But we really appreciate you guys watching and taking your time out. And thank you for watching the One Up podcast. You guys have a good night. Peace.